Good morning, Texas. We are shining the spotlight on Wedding Week. We'll be giving you all the details on how you can prepare for the big day, including some unconventional venues. GMT starts right now.
Live, this is Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, Texas. Happy Thursday, you guys. It is day 4 of Wedding Week, and tomorrow, you guys, is the culmination of love. It is the big day, and we are so excited, but we're still talking all things wedding today before we get there. And this morning, we're talking everything you need to know as far as planning your wedding, from picking the place or where the ceremony or reception is going to be held, like Paige was just talking about, but also your makeup. Should you do it yourself? Should you get someone to do it? How do you make sure it lasts from the I do all the way into the last photo? We're gonna make sure you know all the things. Plus, wedding etiquette. Everyone needs to listen up to this, whether you're a guest or the actual couple, making sure that we're presenting ourselves correctly once we're in the room. So we're going to talk about it all today. So put down the remote, hang out with us for the next hour. It's going to be just fabulous. Let's pop over to the Weather Center, see what's going on outside. Greg, tomorrow is the day. Do you have your wedding suit ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get one prepared. You look snazzy every day.
Well, tell me what to wear. What are the colors? I'll need to know so I can coordinate
Maybe
tomorrow.
we could get you to wear your original wedding suit that you wore in your wedding.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
He's like, I don't know if I can still.
That may have shrunk a little bit over the years. All right, weather-wise, it is going to be warming up, though. It is certainly going to be warm today as we wrap up the week, and then we'll get into some storm chances down the road. But here's what you need to know as we head toward the weekend there. It is going to stay very warm, mainly dry as we wrap up the week, heading on into tomorrow. Rain chances, though, they really start to return late Sunday. That will continue into next week as well, as we will get into an unsettled weather pattern. We will have several chances at seeing some showers and thunderstorms as we get into the early and middle part of next week. So we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up later in the show. But already up to 77 degrees now, so those temperatures are going to be warming quickly. Just a few high, thin clouds at our studios here in downtown Dallas. We're back into the 70s, upper 70s, heading over to Fort Worth. You're back up to 78, now 74, heading out to McKinney, and look at Terrell and Canton. You're warming quickly as well right now at 76. Now we're going to be somewhere in the upper 80s to low 90s. You see that record high of 95, so we may get into the neighborhood of that as we go through the day today. So it's going to be quite warm. We'll see those south winds picking up a little bit more, getting into that 15, 20 mile per hour range as we head into this afternoon. We also have that air quality alert in effect once again. So if you're sensitive to those ozone levels, something else to keep in mind here as we go through the day. Now the temperatures over the next 5 days through the weekend into next week, they will start to come down some. Still going to be in the upper 80s, well above normal over the weekend, but those rain chances do start to come up a little bit more, so we'll talk more about that coming up later in the show. And now, Aaron, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Greg. Wedding season is here, and while the dresses and dancing and cake are the fun part, wedding etiquette can get a little tricky, from RSVP rules and +1s to social media and reception behavior. So we have Anita High School with Prim, Poised, and Proper, and she's here to break down the do's and don'ts for guests and couples alike. Hello to you, Miss Anita.
Hello, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you. And you guys, I know she's here this morning, and so I was like, I have to pay attention to the way I cross my legs. I usually cross them like this all the time, but she's here, so I was like, I have to cross them at the ankle. I know Miss Anita, she's always on it. And so tell me, what are the biggest mistakes you think people make, especially when it comes to RSVPing?
That's a big one. First of all, either they RSVP too late or they do not RSVP at all, and then they want to show up. So it's very important to RSVP and then to keep that RSVP and don't change, because it's very disrespectful to do one or the other, to not RSVP and show up, or to RSVP and not show up.
Exactly. You know what? So right, because at this point, we're messing with people's money.
Absolutely.
And we're going by head count, so we want to be sure. Now, what's the proper etiquette for +1s and even kids?
That's another tricky one. So first of all, the couple should be very specific in their invitations, letting people know whether kids are welcome or not. Also, as a person receiving that invitation, make sure you look at it. If it has your name only on it, it's only for you. If it says your name and a +1, that's for you and a guest. Follow that rule. Don't bring someone, and do not ask, may I bring someone? And make sure you're clear on kids, because you want to make sure that you don't show up with your children when children are not expected to be.
And then be turned away at the door, right? And then you're going to be upset for being turned away, but you're the one that didn't read the actual invitation. Now, tell me, because everyone usually wants to be on time, but how early should we be arriving as a guest?
You should arrive at least 30 minutes early. You want to give yourself a chance to park. You want to give yourself a chance to get into the venue. You want to make sure you're there so that they can start promptly and start on time. And a lot of times, if you're not familiar with the venue, that gives you enough time to get yourself familiar, get there, get seated, and everything's good.
Especially in DFW, because
Absolutely.
the parking out here, you want to make sure you give yourself a little bit of time. Now, what are the biggest wedding fashion do's and don'ts? Because obviously we know not to wear champagne, ivory, white, but we need to tap into length as well, maybe, or just presenting ourselves well.
Yes, first thing is you never wear white ever to a wedding unless you're asked to. Couples have a lot of different things they do now. They ask for certain attire. Just follow that attire that's listed on that invitation. If there's no attire, just don't wear white. If it's after 5 or cocktail or formal, please follow that. But only wear white if you're asked to, because that takes attention away from the bride.
Yes, indeed, and it's her big day, and she's the one that put in all the work to be here.
Yes.
So we want to make sure she gets the attention she deserves. Now, this next question, I feel very strongly about, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Social media and phones at weddings. How should we handle it? How do you feel about it?
Turn them off. Don't silence them. Turn them off. No on your phones. No scrolling on your phones. No taking pictures until later. Okay, give that couple the chance and the opportunity to post and do what they want with their pictures on their day. So be respectful. Phones off. No posting. Give them that opportunity to do that first.
Plus, photographers, I mean, they're expensive. They are not cheap, and you want a good photographer and videographer for your wedding. And what you don't want to see when you get those photos back is everybody's phones like this,
That's right.
trying to capture you going down the aisle. And so let's talk about behaviors that can take attention away from the couple. What should we avoid there?
Okay, first of all, you want to stand back. Let the professional photographer get their pictures.
Yes.
Okay? First dances. Don't go on the floor. Wait until you're invited.
Yes.
Don't drink too much. Don't have any loud conversations. All that does is brings attention away from the couple and to you, and it's not your day, it's theirs.
And you know what? Honestly, it's not the attention you want anyway, especially in a room like that. Tell me, etiquette as far as wedding gifts and thank you notes. Obviously, we want to make sure we're not showing up empty-handed. What does that look like?
Wedding gifts should be by your relationship and your budget. No one expects you to go away from your budget when you're giving that gift. Also, and don't think about the cost of the plate. Just think about your budget and also think about your relationship with that person, okay? So that's the most important thing about that. And then the thank you notes, get those thank you cards out as soon as possible.
And that's for the couple.
That's for the couple. If you have gifts coming in before the wedding, and people do that, they mail them to your home, get those thank you notes out within 2 to 3 weeks. Nice. Okay, if gifts are coming in during the wedding or after the wedding, remember that couple's going on a honeymoon. Okay,
so give some grace.
Give them some grace. But the rule is have all of those thank you notes out within 3 months of the wedding.
Okay, so make sure also as the couple that we're leaning in, we're paying attention and also appreciating the fact that everyone showed up for us and wanted to wish us well.
Absolutely.
I can appreciate that indeed. These are fabulous tips, and you're the classiest woman I know. Literally, I changed the way I sit for you, my girl. Tell me, where can we find you?
You can find me at primpoisonproper.com. Anita High School, the etiquette expert.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. Great information indeed. All right, well, when it comes to wedding planning, your venue sets the stage for the entire day. So why choose something boring when there's so many unconventional venues available to brides who like to think outside the box? So case in point, Paige is live in Bishop Arts inside the Kessler Theater to share non-traditional spots that will make your guests say wow. Hello, Paige.
Hey, good morning to you and good morning, Texas. Yes, I'm inside the Kessler Theater. This theater was opened in 1941, and then in the 1950s, Gene Autry purchased this theater, only for it to be destroyed, completely annihilated by a tornado in 1957. It's had a very storied past, but now it is up and running, and it's being used for a music venue as well as weddings and other events. I'm excited to introduce you to the beautiful Maureen Womack to tell us more. How are you?
I'm great, Paige. Thank you for having me.
It makes me so happy that we're here at the Kessler. This is kind of like the central point of Bishop Arts. It's like the flagship destination of this area, and it's because it has been here for so long, having many different versions of itself. What a great place for a wedding. Tell me why this is a good selection.
So besides it just being a historical venue, and if you're gonna tie the knot for forever, why not do it at a venue with got some history? That's what I love. So, but also when you're at the Kessler, you have a lot of options. So we're sitting in the lobby, which is beautiful full bar, if that's something that you want. Mm-hmm. There's also a big room that you can do elegant tables.
And let's talk about that, because we do have pictures from the Kessler that showcases it's in how it kind of reinvents itself to really focus on the needs of a particular person or a couple that's getting married. It can be transformed, as you were saying, into these different variations and utilizing these spaces in creative ways.
Absolutely. So elegant tables, or you could have a raucous band, and it could be a big dance floor. There's also a green. A lot of people don't know this about the Kessler, but there's a green outside, like a backyard. It's pretty big. And there's also a little stage out there, so you could do take your vows out there, or you could have a cocktail hour beforehand. A lot of options. Also, it's a music venue, so they know what they're doing. It's going to be great sound. It's going to be beautiful lighting. They can take care of you.
They can take care of you too, because they also have a kitchen here as well. Lots of options for providing food options for the couple. This is a great consideration if you really want something out of the box. All right.
But the best part is the marquee.
Oh, the marquee, as we saw before the show started, when we were standing below the marquee, that can be customized for you too.
What a great day to put your name in lights.
I love it. Now let's transition a little bit to something different. This is in Deep Ellum. It's called the All Good Cafe.
Right.
It was also a music venue and also, but a wonderful restaurant, fantastic food, and it really speaks to the history of this unique area in North Texas that is Deep Ellum.
Right,
Tell us more.
another iconic venue in an iconic neighborhood. It's a funky little diner.
And we have pictures of that as well that viewers are seeing.
25 plus years. It's kind of like one of the community staples in that neighborhood. Also a music venue, currently still a music venue, so there's also a stage. Lots of music memorabilia around. It also they're known for their great food, as you mentioned. So it's the famous chicken fried steak. That's debatable if it's the best one in the whole city, so you know your guests are going to be fed well.
Yeah, and also they're known for their breakfast as well. So that if you're doing a wedding, say, not an evening wedding, maybe you want a wedding in the morning, having brunch as an option, that's also easier on the pocketbook. Right. This is a little gem of a location. There's history all over the walls. It's a great spot.
Yeah, it's a great spot. And again, music, stage, anything, and full bar.
All right, let's talk about a bride that might have a little bit of a Western swing, who might want something kind of country, if you will. Tate Farms. This sounds awesome. Let's talk about it.
It's the best. So Tate Farms is a working ranch. So the key is that it's not, fake Texas. It's an authentic, currently working ranch and horse boarding ranch. And then they added these venues. So you can have real horses. You can get your pictures taken with the Longhorns. I mean, it's beautiful. Then recently, they bought a chapel that was about to be torn down, and they moved the entire historic chapel to their land. So there's a church. Beautiful church, stained glass. They can get you an ordained minister.
And the couple who did this, who owns Tate Farms, what makes them unique too is that they had a state fair themed wedding on their property, which made the newspaper. People were really, really giddy about that event.
They do. It's a very family friendly community space, and also you don't have to go to West Texas to get a ranch wedding. It's in Rockwall. It's 45 minutes from downtown. But it's a real working ranch with real people that know how to do it. So, and their catering options are going to be great. Very charming.
She is delightful.
She's delightful.
She's absolutely, well, you are delightful as well. Maureen, thank you so much for giving us all of these insights into these unconventional wedding venue ideas. I encourage you to kind of think outside the box and come up with something special for your special day. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'll send it back to you, Erin.
A bride's wedding day glows starts long before the walk down the aisle, but when it comes to doing your own makeup on your big day, you want it to last from I do to the last photo without overdoing it. So we invited makeup artist Daniela Bell with helpful tips. Good morning to you, my girl.
Good morning. So
I'm
happy to be
so
here.
glad to have you here. My goodness. Okay, so let's talk about it. What are the biggest mistakes brides make when doing their own makeup for their wedding?
Well, that could be one of the mistakes.
I think that's the mistake right there, but tell me more.
No, I mean, hiring a makeup artist, it could be obviously like, it'll take all the stress away from you. But if you're in a budget and you want to do it yourself, or you just feel more comfortable and confident doing yourself, by all means, I'm here to just teach you just a few things. I feel like the longevity of the makeup sometimes is not done correctly.
Yes.
The application underneath before you start putting foundation on, it's super important. So always have a good moisturizer, a good primer underneath, just to kind of help you throughout the day. I don't wear primer primers all the time, but when I have events or like I'm coming on TV or stuff like that, I do
wanna
wear a
make sure you use
primer
them.
because it hydrates your skin better and it creates that barrier so your skin does not absorb the makeup.
Nice.
And when you're getting married, you're gonna be hugging and kissing everyone, and of course your makeup can rub on people,
Yeah.
right? So like it's better to just have that barrier to protect that makeup and grab into it so that it doesn't come off on
Okay,
anyone.
so I use a primer every day, but I never knew the actual meaning of the primer. I've just been doing it because they say to do it, but now I know, which
It's a
makes
barrier,
so much more sense. Okay, so how can brides achieve a natural glow without looking overdone or like it's too much?
You know, sometimes less is more, especially when you're getting married. You don't want to have too much that if something goes wrong and like your mascara starts like smearing or something, then you're just like a hot mess immediately.
Right.
So less is more. So you can actually like touch up if you need to, and it's easier to correct. So we're keeping with the neutral colors because I feel like that's just like an easy way to do your makeup. Just like neutral tones, nothing too heavy,
Nothing
just keep
too
it nice and
crazy.
soft. Yeah.
But I see what you mean because I was about to, my next question, because I love blush and I'm like a blush fanatic.
Same.
And I maybe go too heavy on it sometimes, but you say maybe don't overdo it. You choose a soft color even.
Yes. I like a poppy pink, but sometimes for wedding, it could be a little too much. So go for the coral colors. I love a good coral blush because it just kind of gives you that like radiance. It does
Yes.
add a little bit of flush without it being too overwhelming. And of course, when you're taking pictures, you want to have enough blush so that it actually shows and it doesn't make you look washed out. But it's okay to, you know, not add crazy amounts, just like a good amount that kind
So
of
it
sits
shows
like on top
up.
of the cheeks. Yes, just a good amount that just stops on the top of the cheeks. Don't do it too far low.
Ooh,
That's
okay,
important.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, what products are must-haves for that long-lasting wedding makeup? Because getting it to last from the morning to the evening is hard.
Yes, I definitely suggest you to get a good setting powder.
Okay.
This is like one of like my most possessed treasures. This is a brand that is made for theater, like theatrical makeup. But like I love
Smart.
using it on brides because it prevents from sweat and like you don't transpire. So like your makeup stays put all day long. This is by Ben Nye. It's like a classic. Every makeup artist knows this product, but now you know it.
I was about to say, put
Yes.
it on your lists, everybody.
Yeah,
That is
that's
because
good.
that's really the hardest part about the makeup. Now,
Takes away the shyness and all that.
exactly,
Yeah.
which we want to avoid anyway. We do not want to look shiny in our
No.
photos. That is not how we want to look back at it. Now, how should makeup differ for an outdoor wedding versus maybe an indoor one?
So honestly, I will say that don't worry about that too much.
Okay.
The outcome should be honestly the same, just because sometimes
Nice.
you're gonna transition from in and out, and that's okay. And if you're taking pictures, your photographer is gonna be able to like manage the lighting and all of that on its own camera, but like having enough makeup, it's important. Otherwise, you're literally gonna look like you don't have anything. So add a good amount.
Can I ask you, just because if it's in a budget to get a makeup artist, do you think you should have the makeup artist stay like for touch-ups, or do you think the makeup artist should leave something behind to help you touch up throughout the day? What do you think is the best
It
option
honestly
there?
just depends on your budget.
Okay.
But yes, like if I will say, like most of the times I just come, do the makeup, and then I'm out. Like I don't have to stay. It just depends. And some people do want you to be there, like just to touch up or change the looks.
Yeah.
It's more for changing the look that you stay as a makeup artist than it is to actually touch up. Because if you do a good job from the beginning, you don't have to be touching up.
Very, very
Yeah.
good. Set the foundation the first time. That way you
And
don't
then
have to
seal
keep
it.
going back in. And seal
Seal
it.
it. With the
Let's
hair-
talk
with the-
about that. What are
yes.
you using?
You want to use a spray. You want to spray really well because this will prevent your makeup from transferring onto others, but also it will keep it on lock. It's like basically hairspray for your hair,
There you
but
go.
for your face.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We didn't get to lashes this morning, but I want to touch on them because you have fabulous lashes in your line.
They're
Tell
so
me
good.
what perfect wedding ones you
Well,
have.
you can see the difference between one eye and the other. Like even just the smallest amount of lash can make a difference. And when you're taking pictures, you guys, you have to have lashes. Like it doesn't matter if you're a very natural girl, you can go for this type of lashes that are just honestly the little clusters, and you can stick them and just press them because they're waterproof. So if you're tearing,
If you're crying,
and
it's
you don't need
fine.
mascara. You don't need to put mascara. So like if mascara is an issue when you are obviously, you know, in such an emotional day, then don't wear mascara.
You don't
just
even
put
have to worry about the
press on
drip.
lashes. Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very good. These are fabulous
They're so
tips,
good.
Daniela. Tell us where we can find all the things about you and also the line as well.
You guys can follow me on social media, Daniela Bell Lashes, Daniela Bell Beauty, or on my website, danielabellbeauty.com.
So good. Okay, everybody, this was the main thing right here is the Ben Nye. That's the main thing for me. That's going on my list. Thanks for being here,
Yeah.
you guys. Next on GMT is day 4 of GMT Wedding Week, and we sit down with our lovely couple and co-curator to discuss wedding planning. And still ahead on GMT, a Texas toast to the bride and groom. We are exploring exploring some of the vineyards and wines from Texas Hill Country. You don't want to miss that. This is my breakfast this morning. GMT's back in 2 minutes. Let's do it. Wedding planning can be exciting, emotional, and sometimes a little overwhelming. But whether you're planning a large celebration, an intimate courthouse ceremony, or even a vow renewal, there's a lot to keep in mind to make that day special. So here to discuss with me what goes into wedding planning is elopement specialist Jennifer Allen. Hello. And our wedding week couple. We've got Deva and Samson Douglas, and welcome back to all three of you. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm excited to talk about this because a lot of couples, this is exciting because we get to do it in a vow renewal version this year, so we can kind of hear about you guys' wedding 16 years ago. Planning can be quite stressful. What did it look like for you guys back when you did it the first time?
Yes, I will say, because we are both coming from a Nigerian tradition, we had a
your wedding was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, beautiful colors, but I will tell you, it was overwhelming because you had so many different opinions from different families of what we should expect to do and what we needed to do. And one thing that kept us grounded was Samson and I would just always come back together and say, okay, what is our focus? Like, what are we ultimately wanting to do? What do we want to see in our vision for our wedding? And that was what kind of calmed us with dealing with all the different emotions and opinions.
You guys are going to make it through this week easily. Okay, Nigerian culture, I mean, there's the lead up to the wedding. I mean, my gosh, there's multiple weddings. Yes. Samson, did you guys have a similar idea of what you guys wanted? Did you guys have to compromise? What did that look like for you guys?
Absolutely. So there was a lot of compromise, and I think it was our first opportunity within this journey to really learn how we were going to compromise, how we were going to communicate, and I think that's been a strong pillar throughout our marriage up until this point. We were able to communicate. We're able to communicate clearly what our goals and objectives are, and then kind of meet in the middle. And that was just a great opportunity to do so from the very beginning.
I think that passes by a lot of couples, right?
Yes.
Everybody gets into their wants because you've been dreaming about this day since you were a child, mostly for us women. Yeah. But the men, they have their opinions too, and it's like, okay, let's keep it open to conversation because that's what keeps everything mellow in the intense situations, right? And so let's come to you because I think a lot of the times when we think weddings, vow renewals, we think traditions and rules and all of the things. We want to make sure we make everyone happy. Right. So what are some myths couples should be keeping in mind that they should not enact for their wedding?
Everybody does not need to get a +1.
There you go.
That's a big
one.
Piece, okay? And a good way to cut down on, well, who should get a +1 or not. If the person you're inviting, if you've never met their +1, if their +1 doesn't know your last name, what is your
original last name?
Exactly, either one of them. That's a great way to cut that list down.
Oh,
you know, being at a wedding is a social setting, so there's going to be plenty of people that they'll be able to talk to and interact with, and so not everybody needs to be a part of that budget because every person you invite is $100, $150.
Yes.
So ask yourself, if on any other day, would you spend $150 for this person to eat?
Nope.
Check them off the list. Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone. But I do like that in the fact that because usually when you attend a wedding, it's natural for that +1. Yeah. But sometimes you have to have those hard conversations.
Very much.
Look, some people don't want children at their wedding. Yes. That's a very hard conversation as well. Right. So what would you say now that you're in this space here and you're looking back now, what do you think you know now about wedding planning that makes this process a bit easier for you this week?
Yeah. I would say just taking the time to really enjoy the moment. I think 16 years ago, it was all a blur. I can't even tell you what all would happen or tell you the song we played, you know? But I think now just taking that moment to just take it all in and really appreciate where we started and where we are now.
Wow, it really is like I don't want to say a full circle moment because there's so much more for you guys, but it's nice to reminisce and get back to why we did this in the first place, right? And so I want to make sure that everybody out there, all the engaged couples out there, because they're leaning in looking for ideas and advice. And so what do you think would be the easiest to book first? Because there's so many moving parts to a wedding and it's hard to just get started, right? So what do you think is the number one?
You cannot have any other vendor if you don't have a place to get married at. Venue is first. And also a lot of times it's exciting to book the fun people, right? Oh, I want to have an aerialist. I want to have, you know, all of these other pieces. Yeah. The big band. You need a venue, you need photography, you need food. Let's get those under because if they come in over what you expected to pay, you may need to cut back on some other things. So you don't want to have to cut back on the important pieces for the other parts.
You know what? Because you're right, photography is not cheap these days.
At all.
Oh my gosh, this is a really good discussion. We could do this for the entire show, but so many more things coming to you for wedding week, and we are only on just what? We're just getting started, you guys. So tomorrow is the day we celebrate the love of Deba and Samson with a special vow renewal. So be sure you're here and make sure you dress up, you guys. It's a wedding for everybody. Get involved. It's going to be a fabulous one indeed.
Live, this is Good Morning Texas.
You guys, if you are new to wedding week, we are having a full vow renewal tomorrow on the show with a real couple. This is not fake. We're actually doing this. And my question for Greg is it going to rain tomorrow? Because isn't that good luck?
Yeah. If it rains on your wedding?
Yeah.
It depends on who you ask. I've heard both.
Okay, well, if it's not going to rain, we're going to say no then. That's a myth.
Yeah, it's going to be
not
warm,
real.
but yeah, it won't be raining tomorrow on anyone's wedding across North Texas. The weekend, things do start to change a little bit for us. We'll get into the rain and storm chances, especially heading on into next week. But for right now, taking you out to the Trend Tower camera in Rockwall. Nice looking view there from Rockwall. You see the I-30 there. Things moving along pretty well. Lake Gray Hubbard there off in the distance too. So nice looking warm, 75 degrees. So those temperatures are starting to warm back up. And as we come back over to Cedar Hill, you see Joe Pool Lake there off in the distance, already up to 78. So yes, temperatures are warming pretty quickly out there with those light south winds. Today we're going to wind up somewhere around 92. That record high for today is 95. So close to that, we do have another air quality alert in effect. It gets a little breezy with those south winds. They're going to be in that 15, maybe 20 mile per hour range as well as we get into this afternoon. Now here's what it looks like for the end of the week. We're going to be around 91 tomorrow. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm. Coverage about 20%. That's going to be mainly north and west of the Metroplex up along the Red River. Saturday should be dry. We'll have some gusty south winds for you. And then on Sunday, some scattered late afternoon, evening storms. Again, our northwestern counties probably going to have a little bit better chance for some isolated thunderstorms. So things do begin to get a little bit more unsettled. Still going to be close to 90. And we'll have some strong south winds as well. 20 to 25 miles per hour, probably gusting up over 30 at times, I think, as we head on into Sunday afternoon. So that's what the weekend looks like. And as we go beyond that, taking you on into next week, again, we'll go with about a 30 to 40% coverage with the showers and storms. Once again, we will see rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Not everyone will see rain as we get into next week, but several chances at looking at some stronger thunderstorms as well. We'll be assessing that potential as we get into next week too. Temperatures come down slightly, still going to be on the warmer side. And then the second half of that 14-day, looking ahead to Memorial Day weekend, we'll have those highs, low 80s and maybe some low wind rain and storm changes for the holiday weekend too. All right, Aaron, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Greg. This morning, we are raising a toast to our bride and groom who will walk down the aisle tomorrow with a little Texas Hill Country wine. Richard Foster with Heath Family Brands joins me to sample a few of this season's best wines. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning.
So
Always
glad to
good be
have
here.
you.
Absolutely. Glad to be back.
And we're talking wine this morning. This is easy
We are
conversation
wine
for us.
and love. It kind of all goes
It makes
together,
sense,
right?
Okay, so Great Creek Vineyards, which you see actually behind us. Gorgeous,
It's
right?
not a bad for my office every day, going to the office.
It's not a bad office at all. You don't have a bad job at all either way. But this vineyard was actually named the best winery in Texas. So tell me, why do you think this vineyard is so special?
I think this vineyard is so special for a couple different reasons. One, we have the history. You know, started in the early 80s, one of the original wineries there on the Wine Road 290 in Fredericksburg. Look at the property, though. I mean, we have a property team that does this day in and day out. They make sure that as guests visit with us, it's in pristine condition. And then talk about the main attraction, you know, the wines. We've had the same winemaker for the last 20 plus years. And so Jason's really crafting wines that are hitting on every single cylinder every time. And so I think that people come to know that and they come back for more and more.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like whatever bottle you pop, it's going to be fabulous.
It is.
And we're celebrating this morning, so we've actually popped 2 bottles, and you brought something special with you. So let's talk about this bubbly option that you have right here. It's perfect for celebration and for a couple tomorrow.
Absolutely. So this is our sparkling rosé we call Adoration. So I felt like that was fitting for the theme of wedding week here. So our Adoration is going to be a sparkling Pinot Noir. It's going to be made right here in Texas. So that sparkling location is one of the first tasting rooms dedicated to just sparkling wine here in the state of Texas. So
wow. Okay, let's give her a little taste.
Give that one a try.
That is divine. I knew it was going to be divine, though, because I smelled it, and it smelled absolutely amazing. I also love anything white or rosé, and it's got a little bubble in there too.
Does.
So good. All right, let's come over here. This is a red, of course, but tell me a little bit more about it.
So this is going to be one of our flagship Grape Creek wines that we call Bellissimo, which also translates to beautiful. So kind of sticking with the theme.
Perfect for the wedding theme.
Absolutely. So now we have a dry red wine for you to try here, which is going to be Bellissimo. This is going to be our Super Tuscan, so primarily Sangiovese, sort of transporting you back into that Tuscany and Texas feel, trying one of those nice Italian wines as you sit over the beautiful views of the vineyard.
Okay, I have to be honest. Usually I'm not a red gal. This is divine.
It is. I think it's a way for people to kind of learn as they come in with us, try those tastings, see wines that you may not have had previously, and kind of expand on your palate.
And even though it's a dry one, it's not like, you know how you swallow it and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not super tannic.
It's not bad at all. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that on my list. Bellissimo.
Absolutely, we'll leave you some bottles too.
Now tell me, what is the other winery on the property?
Yeah, so the other winery on the property is going to be our sparkling wine production, the first one you tried. So Grape Creek and Heath Sparkling Wine sitting on the same property, 100-acre footprint. It takes about 5 minutes to walk between the two tasting rooms, sample 2 different styles of wine while on your same property.
Nice, so you get to have 2 activities in one, kind of.
Absolutely. Food and wine pairing with our sparkling wines, and then traditional classic tasting with our still wines at Grape Creek.
And then people can actually see how the sparkling wine is made as well.
We can. We have a 3rd vineyard site in the Hill Country at Invention Vineyards. We just put in all the equipment last year, so we're doing our in-house sparkling wine production there at that facility where we can do around 10,000 cases a year production.
My gosh. Okay, I have a question because you're a wine connoisseur indeed. Yeah. And so tell me, is there a difference for the wines that you should pick, whether you're having like a spring or summer wedding versus like a winter or fall wedding?
You can. I think with weddings, though, in general, you're going to try and stick with the same theme. You're going to have some sort of bubbly option, whether it's a white wine or a rosé, and you're going to have a white wine, still wine to have like a Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc, and then red wines, you can kind of run the gamut on what your options are there. Yeah. So I think that's like a core. You need to have one of the 3 options for your wedding.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, so many options. Hopefully we're taking notes this morning. I'm gonna have to watch this segment back just for myself. Tell me though, because you guys actually just finished renovating a vineyard, which is so exciting. K Estate. I see the K right there. Proud and true. Tell me a little bit about this.
Absolutely. So you see expansive kind of farmhouse views, kind of monochromatic and neutral tones for inside and outside. Big expansive patio spaces. Overlooks the edge of the vineyard as well as the Texas Hill Country. Still phenomenal wines. There's going to be a picture of our rosé and our charcuterie board that we have options. So as well as a full bistro for our wine club members to come enjoy.
I mean, this is absolutely stunning. This is a fun, just getaway, quick getaway. Get outside, enjoy some good wine.
It is, and we're right here in Dallas, so just make a couple hour drive down to Fredericksburg, stay for the long weekend, and then come right on back.
Look, a long weekend is next weekend, you guys. I'm just saying.
It is, and it looks like from what Greg said, it's going to be great weather.
Exactly, perfect way to spend the weekend. Perks of the membership?
Perks of the membership: access to both of our restaurants in the Hill Country, so exclusive access there. As well as getting any of these wines shipped to your house direct, as well as 15% discounts on everything as far as food, wine, and merchandise.
We do love a discount indeed. Tell us where we can go for more information.
Absolutely. So visit us at heathfamilybrands.com.
Very good, you guys. I already drank out of this one, but give me a cheers anyway. Yeah. Cheers to the wedding couple and for wine as a breakfast item.
Absolutely.
Very good. All right, tomorrow, you guys, on GMT, it is the final day of GMT Wedding Week, and we're giving our couple a special vow renewal celebration that you do not want to miss, you guys. It's going to be emotional. Plus, if you're planning your honeymoon or a special anniversary, we've got some trip ideas for you, and we'll give you 3 easy ways to make wedding favors for your guests to take as keepsakes. That's all coming up tomorrow. You're gonna want to be here for that special vow renewal, but don't go anywhere. So much more GMT right after the break. From first dates to 50-year anniversaries, everyone wants to know the secret to lasting love, and Susie Miles says there are keys couples can use to unlock that door to everlasting love. She's the Empty Nest Blessed founder and a best-selling author, and she joins me to share so much more. Hello to you, Susie.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
This is a fun conversation indeed. Everyone talks about finding the one, but your experience and what actually makes a relationship work and last over time, what do you think that is?
The key is the friendship. Yes. The best friendship. You really have to work on that.
Yes.
And I think that means being a good friend, being intentional, spending time together, being a good listener. Sometimes the people we love the most, we treat the worst. But really work on that friendship. Be a good friend.
You are not wrong when I say the person who is in the closest vicinity usually catches most of the wrath, even when it's not their fault.
No.
And most of the times that's where you find yourself in relationships. And so what would you say is the first key to everlasting love for a couple who maybe is either in their 50-year anniversary or about to walk down the aisle?
I mean, I think it's choosing to turn toward each other. Life is hard. There are ups and downs. And in hard times, think of yourselves facing each other and making a circle, holding hands. We choose to turn toward each other, not away, not outside of the marriage, even to talk to your mama, your best friend, your sister.
That's a big one.
Choose each other. That should be your person, but you need to be intentional about that.
So making it the couple, you and your significant other against the problem rather than you versus your significant other. Because you're right, it is so easy to call a friend and be like, girl, this is what he did today, you know?
That's right.
But then you guys make up and it's like, and then but your friend is still like, okay, so what happened? Is it okay? Are we all right? Are you going to dump them? You know?
Yeah.
And so, but life does get busy with work and kids and stress. So what are some simple habits that couples can enact to make sure that they're emotionally connected?
You know, the key one for our marriage, we've been married almost 40 years, has been to say thank you for small things. Thanks for taking out the trash. Thanks for unloading the dishwasher. Hey, thanks for changing the sheets today. We say thank you for the little things, and it puts you in the habit of looking for gratitude and things to be grateful for and noticing what your spouse is doing and really just saying thank you for those little things.
Sometimes we just want to be seen.
We want to be seen.
And we want people to acknowledge the things that we're doing for the household, how we're contributing.
Yes.
And you're right, it's just that small of just saying thank you.
for
And it
those
makes
little
someone
things.
want to keep going, want to keep serving the family, want to keep serving the relationship. And so arguments happen, they happen all the time. It wouldn't be a real relationship without them, right? And so what separates healthy conflict from something that is slowly damaging the relationship?
I think it's very important in conflict to keep the issue on the issue. The Bible says don't keep a record of wrongs. And you can't be like, well, this is just what you always do. Keep the issue, and then deal with it and move on. Keep short accounts, move on, and just maybe reassure each other, I'm not going anywhere, but we're going to work through this, then we're going to move on, and then let it go. And I think you have to let little irritations roll off you too, and realize that you're irritating sometimes.
Yes, no,
I mean, you're
for
probably
real.
not, but I probably am.
No, trust me, girl, behind the scenes, you do not want to know. All right, let's talk about it. Second key to everlasting love for strong couples.
I think it's to choose to grow together, looking for things that you have in common. Bob and I realized we loved babies. And so we started working in the church nursery, and we taught 2-year-olds Sunday school for 25 years. Every Sunday.
That's incredible.
And you know what? Bob loves golf. I do not want to learn golf, but he loves it when I go with him. So I just ride in the car, put on my cute golf outfit.
I know that's right.
And I walk the course, and I tell him how to improve on his swing, which is hilarious.
Does he take the advice?
No, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
I love that, but just leaning in, making more time for each other, even in small ways, at church, with things you already are doing.
That's it.
Make them special for you and your spouse.
Grow together.
I like that. Okay, last key. What's your final key?
You know, I think it's to look for the good in your spouse. Remember what drew you to them in the first place, what you admire about them, what you respect about them, what they mean to you, and keep yourself focused on that, not the bad things. A coin has heads and tails.
Yes.
Focus on heads, all those wonderful things that you love about them. So they're all choices.
It is a choice. It is a choice.
Yeah.
Every day we make a choice, and we just have to choose to lean in and keep loving our person and to understand the person that they're evolving into, because the person you marry is not the person you have a 50-year anniversary with.
But be intentional.
Indeed. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Welcome.
These were actually really good tips, especially that one about not keeping a record of wrongdoing. That's a difficult one. Where can we find you and your tips?
EmptyNestBlessed.com. My best-selling book is on Amazon in hardback, paperback, audio, and ebook. It's called Empty Nest Blessed, no surprise, and I'm on social media at Empty Nest Blessed.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks.
If bladder or bowel control problems affect how you plan your day, keep you going from place to place, always looking for a bathroom or waking up multiple times at night, our next guest wants to help you restore control and reclaim your life. Dr. Esther Hahn, Director of Pelvic Health at the Bladder and Bowel Institute. She is here to share when it's time to seek help and what options are actually available. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Erin. Thanks so much for having me.
So glad to have you. I feel like this is an issue that we either run into at some point point in life or that we were thinking about that might be coming. And so when do you typically see patients who finally decide, okay, I'm ready to start seeking help. This is not a situation I can handle on my own?
Yeah, so, unfortunately, a lot of our patients who come through have been suffering for years before they seek help. Often it's usually when those symptoms are starting to affect their quality of life or even their daily life. So, for example, a patient might say, I really realize I don't leave the house unless I know exactly where the bathrooms are, where I go out. They might even see that their nighttime, their sleep is being disrupted because they're getting up so often to use the restroom. They're avoiding activities with family, with friends, because they're just embarrassed that they might have an accident. Or it's even affecting their wardrobe. They're avoiding light-colored clothing because you can see pads and panty liners more clearly. You might see an accident if it happens. But importantly, all these symptoms are so common, but just because something's common doesn't make it normal. And I just really want to let them know that it's all very treatable.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it really does sound like a quality of life switch, but also to isolation in a way. In everything that you described, it's very much pulling away from public life in general. And so what are some of the most common symptoms that patients can really look out for?
Yeah, so there are two types of bladder leakages that we usually talk about. So stress incontinence is that leak that you might experience if you're coughing, sneezing, girlfriend makes you laugh real hard and you gotta cross your legs, or even exercising, lifting, right? And then we have overactive bladder. So typically that's described as frequency, which is going, more than 8 times a day. So patients will say, hey, I feel like I'm going every hour, every 2 hours. Sometimes patients are like, I just spent all day in the bathroom. And so that's frequency. Nighttime urination or nocturia is going 2 or more times at night. And so we kind of briefly covered that can disrupt your sleep.
Which I can't imagine how that affects who you are in the daytime,
Yes, and so to be fully functional, if you're up every hour going to the restroom, that's just impossible.
It is.
And then urgency. So urge incontinence, typically that's when patients say, oh, I put the key in the doorknob and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the restroom, or I hear a faucet turn on and I've gotta go right away. Now, we also treat bowel incontinence, and so typically that includes bowel urgency, bowel leakage, or even bowel accidents, which you can imagine can be disruptive and very difficult to talk about. So typically I say, for patients who are experiencing any of these symptoms regularly, help is out there and it's worthwhile to get evaluated.
I love having this conversation with you because normally you're right, it is hard to have this conversation. It's hard to ask for help, and I'm assuming that's why people wait so long to seek help.
Yes.
But even in this conversation that I'm having with you, yes, it can be uncomfortable, but the safe space that you bring to it, I think, is special.
Yes.
And the fact that it's very relatable, and it's probably more relatable than we think, which is comforting to know. And so for someone who feels like they've tried everything, what would you tell them?
Yeah. I always tell patients, you are not alone. So this is, most of our patients who come through have tried multiple lifestyle modifications. They've even tried multiple medications at times without lasting relief. What they don't realize, though, that there are minimally invasive advanced therapies such as sacral neuromodulation out there that have been used for decades and has really strong clinical evidence supporting its use in treating bladder and bowel incontinence. And one of the best things about sacral neuromodulation is that patients actually get to test it out before deciding whether or not to move forward. So there are real proven options out there that can help patients get their life back.
Okay, so we just have to lean in, do the research, and figure out where they are. And they're in our community, which is the most important part. What does that first step look like as far as someone reaching out to you guys?
Yeah, and so that's the best part about BBI. We've really tried to make this very simple for patients. They can expect a telehealth visit from one of our providers within 24 to 48 hours of reaching out. From there, we walk them through their symptoms. We create a personalized care pathway for them so that they're on the right treatments quickly. They also have direct access to one of our nurses, basically so that they don't have to go through this alone. We've done all of this at BBI because we really want to help patients get to feeling better within a matter of weeks, not months.
Wow. Okay, that's quick.
Yeah.
That's a quick life change back to who you used to be as well, which I think is really exciting. Thank you so much for being here this morning and having the difficult conversation and making it relatable for everyone at home. And for more information, if you feel like you're in this space, call 844-9-GET-DRY or 844-943-8379 or go to bladderbowelinstitute.com. You can also scan that QR code that is on your screen. Get your life back, and we'll be right back.
Wardrobe for our hosts is sponsored by Dillard's at North Park Center.
My favorite type of viewer is the viewer who makes it to the end of the show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We had a fabulous show through and through. We talked all things wedding week today, which brings me to the fact that if you missed anything from today's show, remember you can always rewatch GMT on your own time on the free to download WFA Plus streaming app. Also on KFAA Channel 29, our sister station. Both of those are going to be happening at 1 p.m., so make sure you check it out if you missed anything this morning. But if you're going to tune into anything, you need to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. right here. You guys, we're having a live vow renewal for our special couple, and I know a lot of you guys think it's fake. It is not fake. These are real people, and they're actually getting remarried, you guys. Make sure you're here, dress up, grab a glass of wine. Even if it's 9 a.m., we're going to have a good time. See you tomorrow.